What's going on, everybody? This is James Grandmaster Facts Boys, and you're here for another Facts Project review. Today we are going to be covering Temporal issue 2. If you hadn't had a chance to basically catch up on issue 1, I did a whole podcast with Stephanie Williams just recently to talk about this particular book for Mad Cave Studios. Obviously, this is written by her. Asiah Fulmore is doing all the artwork. DJ Chavis is doing all the coloring, and Becca Carey is doing all the lettering. To recap, Savannah and Marcus were former time thieves, and they've gotten out of the business to basically settle down, start a family, until one fateful day at one of their son's birthday parties. His wish was to have an original Minimax, which is kind of like if you wanted to say an original Gameboy, basically from the 90s, straight out of the package. And when she sees that he basically kind of got a duplicated bootleg type of copy, it kind of draws her suspicions to basically go back to her old ways. She used to work for a company, which is basically as a time thief. She would go back to certain points in time and basically steal artifacts and bring them to the future, because certain things weren't necessarily deemed as possibly just novelty items, or was something that they obviously needed. In the beginning of issue 2, they start to talk about how they utilized climate change as a manipulating factor for them to basically manipulate the moon in order for the gravitational pull to stop climate change. Now, I feel like because this was only like 3 panels of the story, and it was Marcus basically bringing up that story, that was something that pretty much they're going to talk about later. But when we get directly into the story, it seems like an easy snatch and grab. Savannah is already back in time to, I think it was like the early 90s, to grab an original Minimax. She goes to a mall. She actually just steals the shit out of the shop and then just runs out with it. But the big thing is that what Stephanie told me in the podcast, as always, is what we understand, is that usually when you mess with certain things in time, there's going to be consequences. And the fact that there are already companies that are using time, manipulating time, in order for them to constantly have some sort of value. The fact that she's jumped back in probably set off an alarm, not only to the company that she used to work for, but other companies that are possibly doing the same. So she thinks for herself that she could just steal this Minimax, bring it back to her son, go back to her everyday life, and everything will be fine, until a suspicious person ends up in a shop that she basically runs. And the thing is, outside of everything, Marcus, when he sees the Minimax, is like, now how did this get here? And she basically builds up a lie, telling him that pretty much a girlfriend of hers, she asked her for a favor, and that she went to go get it. But she knows, first and foremost, that Savannah is probably the only person that could get away that quickly, scot-free, and doing it the right way. But the thing is, the buildup of the certain things that are happening, especially from this mysterious gentleman that is asking for exactly who she is, because he pretends to be just a customer in there. But the thing is, he knows who she is. He knows where she's been. And how that's going to drag out in these next later issues is just going to be a bigger thing going forward. So we will keep an eye on this, and of course we'll be watching for more of this issue 3 on the channel.